because everything he said is a lie. It's very bad to see an adult lying, to see a general officer of a great army lying. It's very serious. First of all, he talked about the gold of Burkina, which is used to protect us. First of all, it's the gold of Burkina. It's not his gold. That's the first thing. What does it look like? It looks like nothing. It's Burkina. It's the gold of Burkina. It doesn't look like it. The second thing, he's lying, because Burkina never had gold reserves. Until we arrived, it was us who started to reserve the gold in Burkina's treasury. Otherwise, there was not a single gram of gold reserve in Burkina. That means he's still a liar. The other thing, when he says that we use it to protect ourselves, we are free. If the people have decided that we govern, we have the duty to protect ourselves. So we are free. How does it look like? And the thing that hurts me the most, not because he's a general or because he's an American, it's because he's black. And it hurts to see that we use a black man to fight a black man, and it hasn't started yet. It has to stop. It's very dangerous. Even Libya. Who destroyed Libya? To use a black man again. In the movies, in the time of the Americans, black people always played a bad role. We know that it's in the movies, but why do black people continue to play a bad role? I think that if he heard this interview, he must look at himself in the mirror. Be ashamed. Come out and say that we made a false report. I regret it. He must say it publicly. If it's a false report, we did it. Because it's possible. It's possible that we made a false report. That he comes out and says, because you followed when I took another neighbor. Again, as I said, a black man. The Minister of Defense of Ivory Coast, who walks around in Turkey, he sees the Minister of Defense of Turkey, and he says to him, we sell weapons. You see how it hurts. When a black man behaves like that, it hurts a lot. Did we make a false report? That he comes out and lies. If we sent him to create a problem in Burkina, as they are used to doing it, well, we're going to get ready. We're going to wait for them, because it has to stop now. The black race must not be used to fight the blacks. Every time it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's what we regret here. It hurt us a lot to see that it's a black man who keeps his word. It's true that they can regret it. Through several channels, they try to catch up. But no, it was said publicly. You have to catch up publicly. That's how it is for us. We are no longer in diplomatic hypocrisy. As we like to say things loud and clear, and come down and say no. We don't apologize. You have to say it publicly. So I invite them to catch up, to say it publicly. Because African youth understood. Black youth in the whole world understood. This manipulation is no longer happening. It has always been the case. We can't use false alibis to hope to reach other goals. It doesn't work anymore. So it's regrettable. But Burkina stays in line. We will continue to develop. He forgot to say everything we do for Burkina. What we do, no regime has done it. The social and economic development of Burkina. We are building a lot of health centers, equipped with equipment, medical exams, and lower the cost of medical exams. Which regime did the same? No one. We are working on agriculture, free labor. Our production has increased. Who did it? No one. The army that we are creating. A new army. The Burkina army has never been as equipped as now. Who did it? No regime. In terms of employment, no regime has created as many jobs as we did. Industrialization. Maybe that's what hurts them, that they want to stop it. We have to make up lies. I invite them to review their copies. That's what I can say. It's a big lie, and it's regrettable.
Africa is no stranger to the machinations of imperialist powers, but when US General Michael Langley, head of AFRICOM, dared to sling baseless accusations at Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, he ignited a fire that has swept across the continent like a harmattan wind. In early April, during a US Senate committee hearing, Langley claimed Traore was misusing Burkina Faso's gold reserves for personal gain, a slanderous lie that sought to tarnish the image of a man who has become the beating heart of Africa's anti-imperialist resurgence. What the West did not anticipate was the thunderous response from Africans, not just in Burkina Faso, but from Accra to Addis Ababa, from Lagos to London's diaspora strongholds. The people rose, their voices united in a resounding cry, "Hands off Traore! Hands off Africa!" This is no mere protest movement. It is a continental awakening, a rejection of centuries of exploitation and a bold declaration that Africa will no longer tolerate foreign meddling in its affairs. From the bustling streets of Ouagadougou to the vibrant markets of Nairobi, Africans have taken to the streets, their placards aloft, their chants reverberating. Traore is Africa's hope. The West, blindsided by this unity, scrambles to make sense of a continent that refuses to bow. African leaders, long accustomed to navigating the tightrope of Western approval, watch in stunned silence as their people rally behind a 37-year-old captain who embodies the spirit of Thomas Sankara and the dreams of a free Africa. This is the story of a people's rebellion, a love letter to a leader who dares to defy, and a warning to those who underestimate the power of a united Africa. On April 3rd, 2025, General Michael Langley sat before the US Senate and uttered words that would prove to be a grave miscalculation. He accused Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's interim president, of diverting the nation's gold reserves to protect the junta regime rather than for the welfare of his people. The accusation was not just false, it was a deliberate attempt to undermine a leader who has dared to challenge the West's stranglehold on Africa. Langley's words, dripping with the arrogance of empire, echoed the tired playbook of imperialist propaganda: smear, destabilize and depose. But Africa was listening, and Africa was ready to respond. Within hours, social media platforms across the continent erupted. From X to TikTok, hashtags like #HandsOffTraoré and #AfricaStandsWithIB trended as young Africans, armed with smartphones and righteous anger, called out the US for its hypocrisy. The same America that plundered Iraq and Libya now dares to lecture us about our resources, tweeted on Tita, a Kenyan activist whose post garnered thousands of retweets. In Burkina Faso, the government swiftly condemned Langley's remarks as regrettable and gravely inaccurate. But it was the people who took the fight to the streets. On April 30th, Ouagadougou's Place de la Révolution became a sea of green, red and black, the colours of Burkina Faso's flag, as tens of thousands gathered in one of the largest pro-junta rallies since Traoré seized power in September 2022. Demonstrators waved giant posters of their leader, clad in his signature fatigues, and hoisted banners declaring, "Down with imperialism and its local lackeys." Musician Oshibi Yohan, a protester at the rally, told the Associated Press, "Because Colin Powell lied, Iraq was destroyed, Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi was killed, but this time, their lies won't affect us." His words captured the sentiment of a generation that has witnessed the devastation wrought by Western interventions and refuses to let Burkina Faso become another Libya. But this was not just Burkina Faso's fight. The protests spread like wildfire, igniting solidarity movements across Africa and its diaspora. In Ghana, the socialist movement organised demonstrations under the banner "Hands Off the AES", a nod to the alliance of Sahel states, comprising Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. In Liberia, Sekou Ansumariam Dukali, a young activist, travelled to Ouagadougou to join the protests, declaring, "I came to participate in this demonstration because Captain Traoré represents hope for Africa, hope for black people, hope for all freedom fighters around the globe." In Nigeria, 2 protesters were charged with inciting public disturbance for organising a pro-Traoré procession, yet their resolve remained unshaken. From Accra to Montego Bay, from London to Bamako, Africans stood up, their voices a chorus of defiance. To understand why Africans have rallied so fiercely behind Captain Ibrahim Traoré, one must look beyond the headlines and into the heart of a continent yearning for sovereignty. At 37, Traoré is not just a military leader. He is a symbol of resistance, a living embodiment of the Pan-Africanist ideals championed by Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba and Thomas Sankara. His rise to power in 2022, following a coup against Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, was rooted in a promise to address Burkina Faso's worsening security crisis and reclaim the nation's dignity from neo-colonial exploitation. Unlike his predecessors, Traoré has delivered. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has taken bold steps to assert its independence. He expelled French military forces, terminated exploitative agreements, and rejected the CFA franc, a currency seen by many as a lingering shackle of French colonialism. Traoré redirected national wealth toward grassroots development, investing in education, healthcare, and food security despite illegal sanctions and external pressure. His nationalisation of Burkina Faso's gold mines, a move that has earned him both plaudits and enemies, ensures that the country's resources benefit its people, not foreign corporations. These actions resonate deeply with a continent that has seen its wealth siphoned off for centuries while its people languish in poverty. Traoré's rhetoric is equally powerful. Clad in fatigues and fluent in the language of revolution, he channels the spirit of Sankara, Burkina Faso's legendary leader, who was assassinated in a French-backed coup in 1987. Traoré has erected a new statue of Sankara at the site of his assassination, a symbolic act that reaffirms his commitment to the ideals of self-reliance and Pan-African unity. In viral TikTok edits, young Africans hail him as Africa's messiah and the people's captain, depicting him leading imaginary armies to topple Western empires. Captions like "France must fall" reflect the anti-imperialist fervour that Traoré has ignited. For many Africans, Traoré represents a break from the old guard of leaders who have too often served as puppets of the West. "He's one of us," said Amina Coulibaly, a 24-year-old student in Bamako, Mali, who joined a pro-Traoré rally. "He speaks our language, he feels our pain, and he's not afraid to stand up to those who've been looting our continent for centuries." This sentiment is echoed by the youth, who make up the majority of Africa's population and see in Traoré a leader who understands their frustrations with unemployment, inequality, and foreign domination. His charisma, youth, and unapologetic stance have turned him into a digital messiah, with AI-generated images and deepfake anthems amplifying his mythos online. But Traoré's appeal is not just emotional, it is practical. In a region plagued by jihadist insurgencies, he has prioritized security, drawing on his experience as an artillery officer in counter-terrorism operations. While critics point to ongoing violence in Burkina Faso's northeast, supporters argue that Traoré inherited a dire situation exacerbated by years of Western-backed mismanagement. His pivot toward Russia for security partnerships following the expulsion of French troops is seen as a pragmatic move to counter jihadist threats without compromising sovereignty. For Africans tired of seeing their countries used as pawns in geopolitical chess games, Traoré's defiance is a breath of fresh air. The protests sparked by Langley's accusations were not just a defense of Traoré, they were a rejection of the West's enduring arrogance. In Ouagadougou, the April 30th rally was a spectacle of unity, with Burkinabe of all ages chanting "Long live Captain Traoré" alongside Russian and Burkinabe flags, a nod to the shifting alliances in the Sahel. The demonstration was one of the largest since Traoré's coup, fueled by outrage over the US general's remarks and reports of a foiled coup attempt allegedly orchestrated from Ivory Coast. Burkina Faso's security minister Mahamadou Sana described the plot as an effort to sow total chaos and reverse the country's revolutionary path. The people's response was clear: they would be Traoré's shield. Across Africa, the protests took on a life of their own. In Ghana, grassroots organizations marched in solidarity, denouncing foreign interference and praising Traoré's leadership. In Liberia, demonstrators carried placards reading "Traoré is our Sankara." In Nigeria, despite state crackdowns, young activists organized processions, risking arrest to show their support. The diaspora, too, played a pivotal role. In London, Burkinabe and other Africans gathered outside the US Embassy, their banners proclaiming, "Africa's resources are not your playthings." In Montego Bay, Jamaica, a small but spirited rally echoed the call for African sovereignty. These protests were not just about Traoré, they were a demand for respect, a refusal to let Africa's future be dictated by foreign capitals. The digital realm amplified this uprising. On Facebook, posts like Joe Bassey's declaration, people across the globe have staged protests in solidarity with Captain Ibrahim Traoré following reports of a coup attempt went viral. garnering thousands of likes and shares. Sea-Finnish public called the protests a global uprising, urging France, the US and NATO to keep their hands off Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. Esherikwaku's post, "Africa doesn't need the world needs Africa," struck a chord, reminding Africans of their continent's wealth and potential. These voices, unfiltered and unapologetic, transformed the protests into a global movement, one that the West could neither ignore nor control. The chaos was not in the protests themselves, which were largely peaceful, but in the disruption they caused to the Western narrative. For too long, the West has assumed it could dictate Africa's destiny, propping up compliant leaders and toppling those who dared to defy. Traore's Burkina Faso, alongside Mali and Niger, has shattered that illusion. The alliance of Sahel states, formed after these nations quit ECOWAS, represents a new vision of African integration, one that prioritizes sovereignty over subservience. The protests, with their anti-imperialist slogans and pan-Africanist fervour, sent a clear message. Africa is no longer a playground for Western powers. The West was caught off guard by the scale and intensity of the protests. In Washington, Langley's remarks were likely intended as a routine jab, a way to justify AFRICOM's presence in Africa and counter Russia's growing influence. Instead, they backfired spectacularly. US policymakers, accustomed to African compliance, were stunned by the outpouring of support for Traore. "This is unprecedented," admitted a State Department official, speaking anonymously to Reuters. "We expected pushback from Burkina Faso, but not this level of continental solidarity." The protests exposed the fragility of Western influence in Africa, a continent increasingly skeptical of promises of democracy and development that have delivered little but debt and dependency. France, in particular, felt the sting. President Emmanuel Macron, who once described Traoré as part of a Baroque alliance with Russian and Chinese neo-imperialists, was notably silent as the protests unfolded. France's expulsion from Burkina Faso in 2023, followed by similar moves in Mali and Niger, has left Paris scrambling to maintain its relevance in the Sahel. The sight of Burkinabe protesters burning French flags while waving Russian ones was a bitter pill for a nation that once saw West Africa as its backyard. The protests also highlighted France's hypocrisy. While Macron lectures Africa on sovereignty, French companies continue to profit from the continent's resources, often at the expense of local communities. African leaders, meanwhile, found themselves in an uncomfortable position. Many, reliant on Western aid and investment, have avoided openly endorsing Traoré's radical agenda. Yet the protests revealed a growing disconnect between these leaders and their people. In Ivory Coast, accused by Burkina Faso of harbouring coup plotters, President Alassane Ouattara faced criticism for his perceived alignment with Western interests. In Ghana, former President Nana Akufo-Addo's earlier accusations of Traoré harbouring Russian mercenaries strained relations. Yet the solidarity protests in Accra showed that ordinary Ghanaians sided with Burkina Faso's leader. Across the continent, leaders who have thrived on Western patronage watched nervously as their citizens celebrated a man who rejects such dependence. The Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, in South Africa were a notable exception, boldly rejecting Langley's accusations and praising Traoré's efforts to reclaim Burkina Faso's gold for its people. "We condemn the West's continued interference in African nations' affairs," the EFF declared on X, reaffirming Africa's sovereign right to control its resources. Their stance resonated with young Africans, who see Traoré as a model for leaders who prioritise their people over foreign interests. The protests are more than a defence of one man. They are a battle for Africa's soul. For too long, the continent has been a chessboard for global powers, its resources plundered, its people marginalised, its leaders co-opted. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, flaws and all, represents a rejection of that status quo. His vision of a sovereign, self-reliant Africa, free from the chains of neo-colonialism, has struck a chord with a generation that refuses to accept the world as it is. Critics, particularly in the West, paint Traoré as an authoritarian, pointing to his suspension of political parties and crackdowns on dissent. Human rights groups have raised concerns about abuses by Burkina Faso's armed forces in counterinsurgency operations. These criticisms deserve scrutiny, and no leader is above accountability. But for many Africans, the West's sudden concern for human rights rings hollow. Where was this outrage when Western-backed regimes committed atrocities? Where was the condemnation when France propped up dictators in exchange for resource contracts? Traoré's supporters argue that his measures, however imperfect, are a necessary response to a country under siege, by jihadists, by sanctions, and by foreign plots. The love for Traoré is not blind adoration, it is a recognition of what he represents. He is a reminder that Africa's destiny lies in African hands. His policies, from nationalising gold mines to investing in grassroots development, challenge the narrative that Africa cannot thrive without Western guidance. His defiance of France and the US inspires a continent to imagine a future where its resources fuel its own progress, not the profits of foreign corporations. His youth and energy resonate with a demographic that is tired of being told to wait for change.
There again with you. I want to talk about this new God that is around the place. And this new God, the main ingredients in this new God comes out of Africa again. Because we know that a lot of people don't know that any manifestation of God that you can see now or find now of its genesis in Africa. Well, this new God also have its genesis in Africa. It comes from a material that them call coltan. Coltan is part of the process that them use to create this new God where we are talking about. And no matter how far in the bush you live, no matter where you live, we come in contact with this God. Some can't do without it at no time, some can't sleep without it. Some have to have it, somewhere or another them have to have it. And it is really something weird and crazy. Because I can't remember, even myself, I can't remember the days without a cell phone. I remember when people used to line up in a line to get a call on a telephone booth. And sometimes rain a fall, I don't really want to go check the phone, but the call is so important to you that you really have to go out there, go find some sense to put in at the phone booth. Now you walk through an airport, you can't even find a telephone booth again. They might give you free WhatsApp now that you can use your phone to deal with what you deal with. The thing with it is that it engulfs the whole of it now. It's like a control. It's like Silicon Valley now take over the earth with this little rectangular shaped machine that has now have the youth them crave for have it. You hardly see a youth a walk, just normally a walk on the road again. Him head is down in his cell phone, not looking where I'm going either. Not even listening to a conversation. Him have a headphone in his ears where totally lock him out from the world. Totally lock him out from the world. Him not listen to conversations with people talking to each other again. Even around dining table, if there's such thing again as a dining table, that people sit down around. A lot of them have a cell phone, meanwhile they might eat them food. People in the theaters, I go movie house, and when you look, you see the little light, them a shine all over the place, the little spots of light. People see a part of the movie and them actually talk to them friend about the movie where them a sip on the screen. And then some of them phone even ringing at the theater, which is really a travesty. Now what we are saying? We are saying that how did they get us to be controlled and manipulated by a little rectangular shaped thing? How did they get us to control it? And it is also a device that is tracking us in many ways than one. This device here track all the people them who come in confrontation with it. This device here make people don't even know what is their next move unless them use it. Because it is now deciding and determining the next move or the next ideas that you're supposed to get. You want to shop now, you want to bank now, you don't go to the, which is good, you don't have to go down at the bank and something there. But what is it that it is taken away from the human spirit? What is it that human beings have that it is moving further and further away from because of this little thing, this new God? Because I see kids sit down in a circle, in a whoop yard, we see them sit down, and no one is speaking to no one. Nobody's talking to nobody. Everybody is talking, is looking on them phone, I see them finger. And if they want to send a message to the person beside them don't ever say, look here, watch out, this and that. No, they must send it through a message, or WhatsApp or a messenger, to the person who sit down beside them. It's crazy. It's crazy. When you have people lay down in them bed and have this thing in them bed with them, what is it that is going to happen that you can't miss out on in the next hour or two? Because nobody gets rid of them phone for an hour. I guarantee you that everybody who have a cell phone go up on it more than 4 or 5 times in the hour. How did they get us to do that? It's like how them get us to drink water out of a plastic bottle and don't want to drink the pipe water. How did they get us to do that? How did they get us to drink water out of a plastic bottle and pay for it? Pay for it. And we know that the plastic bottle is a problem to the environment. But that is what is prevailing right now. So you have people with them plastic bottle of water and them cell phone, and that is all them need, because them can put up anything that them want and take down anything that them want on this device that I call the new God coming out of Silicon Valley. What is it that we are giving up as human beings to partake in this new belief, this new idea, in this new God consciousness? Because it is a God consciousness. You have to know for it. And notice, it's the smallest of youth them understand the intricacy of it. That is where it attacked, you know. This virus, this cell phone virus attacked the smallest youth. While the COVID attacked the oldest, the cell phone attacked the smallest youth them. Things that an elder person can't figure out on a cell phone. You just give the youth it, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and him just tick, 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 and just fix that and work it out. It's amazing. And him need a cell phone, him need an iPhone, him need an iPad. I would probably believe so when you give all of these school youth iPad them call it, right? A whole heap of people feel, you think so they must spend most of them time at the school work? If you think so, you live in an illusion further than where I could think. Because what them doing is really going on something else that has nothing to do with education. Nothing to do with education. We fall down. Human beings are going more and more into that technologically advanced age that will exempt the human spirit, the human thinking, the human consciousness, because they are going to make machines, if not already, they are making machines that can benefit the world, society. That is what it is doing. These machines can think faster and have less problems, no sickness, no health insurance, no tired for doing a job. These machines is more intelligent than human beings. There was a time when man said, well, the one thing man can do is make man. Well, man is making machine that is more precise than man. When you employ a machine for do a work, them don't talk about them tired and them want to rest. Them just continue working. That is the power of that technologically advanced thing that is grabbing the earth right now, and we have to face it. We have to face it. We can't be dumb and live in a world where I say, boy, you know, so when me was a child, this, and when me was a child, that. When you was a child, gone. This is the age of science and technology. We have to really come to grips with it and understand it. Don't throw it like say we're dumb and want to live in a stone age. Because the stone age not going to come back. It's advancement, and it's how human beings are clicked. And human beings is giving over them thinking to machine. And maybe, one day, those machines will want to control and rule people. Just like how man create the idea that he must have dominion over all animals. And him kill them. There's a movie named Planet of the Apes, where when the man land on this planet, the apes control the whole idea of the earth. The air control it. The apes is the ones who is the government and who is the leaders. And when him realize it, the ape is treating them human beings like how human beings treat the ape. Only to find out in the end that his earth him was still on. Him thinking we'll go to another planet. But it's the same planet, Earth, him the depend. And how him know that? Because him see the Statue of Liberty sinking at the sun and him realize that but this is a different age. And the apes them recognizing that these are human beings. And in them past history, this is the human beings who used to treat them ancestors a certain way. That is what is going to happen with these AI, as them call them, where the machines is so advanced into ideas and them don't need no insurance, life insurance and health benefits. That them going to work. And the amount of information that these machines can store is beyond the capacity of human brains to do that. Even right now, the cell phone is so advanced that right now, we know nobody number. I know them name and all I have to do is put in them name and them number come up. And that is where it reach. Because the amount of things that the machines store, the iPhone, the iPad, the computer store, the human beings is not able to store that. And it is all about information. Who have the most information will control. Who have the most information will control the minds of the people. Because that is what the war is about. The war is about information. Information. And if you don't have no information, you're going to be what we call now superstitious. Because that is really what lead people who is not moving forward to do, get superstitious. And them don't have no information. So them don't have no inspiration. Because you know, information without inspiration, I should say inspiration without information lead to superstition. Why I say that again? Inspiration without information lead to superstition. People with the less information will keep back themselves, especially religious people, keep back themselves because of the lack of information. They are stuck in something that happened 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago and can't move forward. Them still trying to present history, not as history, but as the present. When it's learned, we should learn from history, not trying to replicate history. And put it here now, because a different age we are living now. So we just tell the one them, say, look now, get with it and use your spirit as a human being. And let not the new machine become your God. Because as we said before, without Africa, that God cannot exist. And we as African people have to understand that. We have to understand that. And we have to learn from our history. We don't want to repeat it. We want to move forward. Give thanks. This is MUTABARUKA. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So subscribe and tell your friend them. This is MUTABARUKA. Me about the two man them with the pastor shoot.
Yeah, so sometimes when we talk, some church try burn out and talk about, we talk about the Lord servant.
Yeah.
I remember the Lord servant did that preach and they go and drop out in pocket. So a local incident going down in our country there, you see it?
Don't know which country?
You hear about the pastor who shoot the two thieves them?
No, which country?
That's somewhere down in Mandeville, them man. Broke in our church.
Oh, yeah, me about it.
Not dopey story that,
No, not dopey story.
If it's a scene.
No.
When we talk something good, they say scene. If it's not so good, they say dopey story.
Yeah, I know the dopey story part, but they teach better than what I know. When we say scene?
Scene.
Okay, all right, sir.
Yeah.
So, no, me about that though. Me about the two man them with the pastor shoot.
Yeah. So sometimes when we talk, some church try burn out and talk about, we talk about the Lord servant.
Yeah.
I remember the Lord servant did that preach and they go and drop out in pocket.
Yes, and that's not a story at all.
That real.
Yeah, say they must say more than 50% of the past them in Jamaica is not legitimate. When we say not legitimate, they're not real Christian.
Business them I do, man.
Yeah, man, a business. And church no pay tax,
Me know.
Yeah, then why them not pay tax?
No way, see them become part of the government,
Yeah, church and like first time, man. When you go there, go pray to God and feel good and go home and feel like say you go heaven.
No, man, because I won't live me know I even deal,
Yeah, but church now.
Even deal,
But I want to say church now, you go to church now, you feel like you shouldn't go. Because when you were the pastor, I hear with Sister Iris, I say about Sister Joanna, and Sister Joanna say about brother who have sex with who, and who they with who, and who shouldn't they with who, and all them stuff. In the church. Sister
yeah, then the pastor will tell us to come back in church and put your back bench.
Yeah.
Or we pop off on you,
Yeah, man. And no.
And I say, yo,
No bad man, you know, I got to church to hide in the church at all.
I hide the gun them in the church.
And I take the cocaine money and I build up different parts of the church too.
Exactly, because the gun them come in a barrel,
Yeah, and that's not a dopey story. That's not a dopey story. That's not a dopey story, that's a fact.
Okay, you see it.
Yeah, because when the court money build the church, the pastor tell the man who give the money if you come down at the front, come sit down,
Yes.
Yeah, that's when him attack, him spit fly out by the man and bless him. Then it's one of the past when they attack, it look like the mouth, when you go to school, you about church your mouth.
Yes.
Full of water, and I tell the Lord said,
yes.
Thus said. You better go sit down at the back if you don't want to spit catch you.
Hey, but for that serious note, you can't get short of your buy again.
No, but not the serious, What you talking about? Not the serious, brethren.
You can't get short of your buy.
Me have church,
You have short about some people now push it all like you like get it.
Yeah,
so I tell them about $100 pound. I look at it, I must dry up.
Yeah, when me have a church tree, I run in a coconut tree in my yard, and every time me look, me see church upon it, me I say, but wait, and when that church in the reach point, and so them take over, so the church thing spread all over the place and take over everything.
Yeah, it can spread it. Yeah, man.
And say one church me put on the ground, me never have planted it, Me put it on the ground and say, me go wait till it shoot up little. And the photo tree take up all gone all.
And you say it natural though.
Yeah, man.
Natural thing, because anything you drop on the ground, especially seed and it grows. So
yeah, man.
It's good for your system,
Some big church me see the party something, man. But yeah, church hard to forget,
Yeah, because somebody that laid them here attack,
Yeah.
Say true, say church or why? Where it good for blood pressure.
And that them I say.
And digestive system and it's just can't get it because if like people there from uptown come by out to where them and carry them go partner for the house and let's one look out one that look like you out for a drop. I say I might say about $100 pound feed. But one look at teeny city so look like I look a finger.
But if you can't find no church in the market, you have to go all Ruthven Road and New Kingston, Not Fort Boulevard at that place and no church up there.
Hey,
Them church
Night or day?
Eh? No, I
Night
better
or day?
go in at the night. I better the more church are there in at the night.
Oh,
Bremer.
you have a night, man. Okay, you have to night the night there. You know,
Bremer
because it's so
Avenue.
hot.
You know, a man will call me and say, Muta, how you know the place them so? Yeah, me know the place them because me drive a late at night and see them. You can't Bremer Avenue, Ruthven Road, behind Dumfries Road, where me used to have my shop. All of them places, enough church and sell all of them places, man.
Oi, that tell a man for real, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yo, that tell a man the church and them run themselves.
That's
You
why
see?
the church are doing at the market.
They want to that back road, AK Port Edison Road.
Well, you know, the police them have moved the church of them after that, so though. Them say, go back to the market to the church and have left back road.
It has spread too.
Yeah.
It has spread too much.
Yeah.
And it have block off the road.
All right,
Hey,
sir. I know don't be
listen.
story that. I know don't be story that.
A real thing. Seen. Then me I read a local article and me here say red man kill a fish.
Red man kill a fish.
Yeah.
Which part them kill the fish?
That me I say. Then the thing we are going St. Elizabeth, man.
Oh, the man when name Red Man.
Yes.
You have a man who will run election, you know, name Red Man.
Yeah, name red man.
Him take over
So
for
they
the
put
price.
it now in a local slang say
Oh,
red man kill a fish.
yeah. Them a play upon the word. That catch your eye that you buy the newspaper.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Red man kill a fish.
They like when them say gorilla kill man. I really a soldier them a talk about. When you think a gorilla nyam up the man, but a soldier, them call the gorilla warfare, you know?
Right. And you know, so a man link me pan sitting about after 3 o'clock ask me if I may sell it.
No, me tell you, me sell it already, you can't go buy it again.
Then I can make a 3-4 times the money, man. I can split up
No,
the
man,
money, man.
me sell the clock already, man. You have to go sell Emancipation Park now.
Yeah, but me pass up the since night and see lock up.
Yeah, well, you know, them have a little gay guy I watch it, you know.
Eh?
Them have a little gay guy I watch the park, but him look up at the ear all the while, him don't look down.
Yeah, but me I hear say them whole light bill.
Long Emancipation Park?
Yes, and they lock up pass the since night. They lock
You
up
serious?
them. Yeah, them say them whole for light
Me
bill.
think
and
what
then
dopey
they
story
lock up.
attack. Me think a dopey story in that talk.
No, man, I really think, man. the
So them
pass
lock up the
night.
park because who hold the light bill? Who hold the light
that's
bill? The
more I
government
know.
hold the light bill.
That one know who use up the light bill or who they hold for. Who the park belongs to.
Then we-
I know Mandela, because Mandela dead, you know.
No, you remember I said them the lock off the opposition leader telephone because the phone the bill never pay.
Hmm.
Yeah, the government not supposed to pay him phone bill and never pay. Them lock it off.
Oh, yeah, I say.
Yeah, man, I will pay them. Hey, I know one of the watch out. The government owe water commission enough money, you know.
Hmm.
But guess what? A government run water commission.
Why, this is some dopey story sometimes I have to wonder which part I there, you know. You know, so I want to know if everything happen is dopey story.
Yeah, but the body
And
say,
the old song say, hush your mouth, shut your mouth,
go away.
Baba Boo Boo there with me.
Yeah, boo boo there, yeah.
Yes, that's a belly fentia with me, a bar fantia with whatever name.
Arabella Fante.
And then here one in Jamaica feel well.
Me play that already.
Eh?
Me play that already, man.
Me have that pass CD, man. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I tell you, man, I don't understand why I go on in your country, you know, brother. Because if the pastor, them all get feared, that's about make sure they have a gun, you know, because right now, them not take no talk, you know. Come on, I come tell you, say, you know, you see that one thing in that paper say, bad man at extra church. You hear about it?
Yeah, man, no, I mean, but they know them a preach by the pulpit, man. And the bad man, them a preach by the pulpit, you know.
Yeah, so pastor make sure say strap, you know, you see it?
Look,
Alright,
watch
and
out.
them
Let me tell you something. Some bad man a preach in a church, no, at past, you know. Why you know that, you know, gunman will use to shoot people and kill people, you know. They in the church right now a preach.
Yeah,
A whole heap of time you see them on the television and confess, say them used to do this and them used to do that. But now them change the Lord, change them heart, and now them are baptized and now them change themselves. So, you know, the way they are, you know to them things they are going. That's another
yeah,
topic.
because one P1 up August, so what me say and them brother, you know.
The one where them shoot?
Yeah, the pastor, me say and them brother, you
Them
know.
related, them say. I don't know what's in
Yeah,
brother,
related, them time brother. Must say him no wanna disturb brother.
Well, him change him life. Him turn around him life, but it look like him life never turn around enough for the man them.
Yeah, because if your brother was so dangerous and things, not here, if you look at her, you remember one scripture in the Bible where them says, Saul have taught us, and then said the lightning.
Saul, turn Paul, yeah.
Yeah, turn Paul. Yeah. When they saw by them, have to turn it to Paul.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, he might bring a gospel to people. No man no believe him.
Yeah.
Commander say, yo, you really mean them don't get a master, we go move to him, you know.
And them used to kill people. Them used to kill no people.
Yeah, man, and Christian and them people, them man, and them have to put him in a basket and put him over a place, put him over the...
yeah, man, a bad man. I was bad man.
Yeah, a whole for people ain't done in a man.
Yeah, man.
Because some my time, you know, when I really look into a thing, you know, and I start to look, a whole for people ain't done in a man.
Yeah, man.
Because some my time, you know, when I really look into a thing, you know, and I start to look on how the church set up and organize, you know. And then I look on the Pope and I say, Pope are the leader for all of the religion, is it? And control everything and so everything to go on. You see, then all day I look on, because I said the National Sunday Day law. You hear about it?
Sunday, the law?
The National Sunday law.
Welcome to the National Sunday law.
No, they must say, right, I know, if a man no worship on Sunday,
yeah,
he's not going to have a problem.
Who was that?
No, the book when I read, you know. The Sabbath people, them are going to wipe out the Sabbath people, them, you know.
I same day right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I same day right now. They will say, there will come a time when the Sunday, who no worship on Sunday. That means if you are same day, you will get wiped out.
For real?
Because if you don't worship on Sunday, you're going to get wiped out. So those who worship on Saturday, them are going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
I don't know anything you go.
It's supposed to be 72 Sabbath for the year, you know. You hear about it?
And some Saturday in 1 year?
Yeah, but them are some people, some of them really say Saturday, but some deal with them deal with the moon.
Full moon. Well,
yeah,
you know, so them use
the atonement and the feast of the Passover.
Yeah, well, that's
so they never say Sabbath, then say Shabbat.
Yeah, but you know, usually in the Bible, where the Jewish thing, you know, is the first new moon in a spring, ushering the new year, you know. The month of Abib is the first new moon. So you see, when they talk about Last Supper, it's not really the Last Supper. What them was dealing around, you know, is the Passover.
Yes.
The Passover is when Israel supposedly passed over the Red Sea, gone over the other side and left Egypt. So they must celebrate the time when them leave Egypt. It's the Christian them turn it over and one that was the Last Supper. It's not the Last Supper, it's Christian that said that.
Yeah, because I know say nothing really go say them, I'm going to listen to them, you know.
Dopey story.
Because, yeah, man, dopey story. Because right now, when I look at it again, they'll all no Christian of talk about blood. The blood of Jesus. The blood of Jesus. And I say, yo, what I'm told? Them say, all right, it look like we're not practice cannibalism. Why we're not talk about the blood of Jesus?
But one man have so much blood, Rasta, serious man, that have so much blood, though.
Yeah, because they must say, entire eat the bread, you know.
Yeah, I'm flesh.
I want to drink you wine and blood. They're not cannibalism that, brethren.
Yeah, they know that them used to do. This is just a ritual now where used to happen, you know. Because people used to do that, you know. Them feel say if you eat the flesh of a warrior, a strong person, you become strong. And through the life, the blood is the life of the individual. If you drink the blood of a good man, you also will become good. That is a thinking where it in some long time people head, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I know Uncle Christian them the things so still, you know. The Christian them get it from somewhere else, you know. The Christian them get it from somewhere else. But don't matter about this individual man where you don't have to bother drink no blood of no lamb again. Him is the lamb now. So drink fiend blood and eat fiend flesh. And make washing the blood of the lamb. Because them used to actually washing of the blood of literal lamb, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but them stop do that now. So them call this man which represent the lamb, according to them. The lamb is representation of Abraham, who they go kill his son. Him like a murder him son, conspiracy against God to conspire with Abraham to kill him son. And then Abraham never kill him son and him say the little lamb each up in our fence and him take the lamb and cut out the neck and sacrifice it. So that represent now this man you know, where them put on the cross say him is the lamb who take away the sins of the world. So you must be washed in the blood of the lamb.
And be whiter than snow.
Though your sins may be like scarlet, but it shall be as white as snow. May I tell you? That means...
No, sir, that not sound good.
Well, it
that's all like dopey story.
No, they're not dopey story. That's the ultimate dopey story. Anyway, we have to move, brethren.
Yeah.